What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Please excuse my absence over the last week or two. I was very selfishly off getting married in Croatia. So if you could please subscribe for my wedding present, that would be absolutely legendary. Today we are back at it with some of the most misunderstood songs of all time. Some of these are romantic, beautiful songs, some of these are absolute anthems, and some of these are complete sing-along. A lot of them have catchy hooks and melodies, and they simply just have lyrics which people aren't looking into that much. And some of them are written about one thing when actually they mean a completely other thing. Song number 1, Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. Now, Comfortably Numb is taken from Pink Floyd's album The Wall, which was released in 1979 and for the most part composed by Roger Waters. This is one of the most famous concept albums of all time and was inspired by Waters' experience being separated from the band and feeling a segregation during their shows, particularly that of the 1977 In the Flesh tour. A lot of people have interpreted Comfortably Numb as being about war, about a soldier being injured and then being treated by a medic. This is notable in the lyric, "A distant ship smoke on the horizon." Other people believe that it is about someone dying and a doctor dealing with them. This is again evident in the lyrics, "Just a little pinprick, there'll be no more, but you may feel a little sick. Also, when I was a child, I had a fever." However, the song was inspired by Roger Waters' experience when he had such bad anxiety and nerves before a show that he started getting serious stomach aches, and a doctor had to visit him and inject him with medicine in order for him to perform. He felt totally disconnected and disillusioned during the performance, and at some point couldn't feel his hands. Again, like I said, the entire album is a concept album written about a rock star with depression who is disillusioned and separated from his fans and those loved ones around him. However, this is one of the songs on the album which is really directly inspired from a recent event for Roger. Song number 2, YMCA by the Village People. For those of you who don't know, the Village People were originally conceived by a production team who put together musical acts. Jacques was visiting a disco in New York's Greenwich Village, where he noticed many gay, muscular men, and this gave him the idea to produce this costumed, strong, masculine, catchy disco act known as the Village People. Now this song, YMCA, we all know it. It's such a popular sing-along song, and it is in and of itself a gay anthem. However, lead singer and songwriter Victor Willis actually explained that it never was intended to be. In fact, he has said that he did not write YMCA as a gay anthem, but rather as a reflection of the fun activities that young urban black youth experienced at the YMCA, such as basketball. So it's more innocent than it seems. It's not so much about hookup culture, but more innocent acts such as just playing sport. Song number 3, Who Let the Dogs Out by Baha Men. Now this was actually originally composed by a singer called Anselm Douglas from Trinidad and was originally titled Doggy, then covered years later by Baha Men, and it was extremely famous in 2001. If you were born in the early 90s like myself, then you will definitely remember this being sung loud and clear throughout every school playground ever. Many people don't realize that this song is actually about catcalling and is a feminist song. Let's go through the lyrics quickly. The party was nice, the party was pumping, and everybody having a ball. I tell the fellas, start the name calling, and the girls respond to the call, who let the dogs out? The dogs being the men doing the catcalling, the women is calling them the dogs. We never realized this growing up. We always just thought it was a funny song about someone letting the dogs out, when in reality it's about men catcalling a woman and the woman responding, you're all just a bunch of dogs, pretty much. Next song, Chasing Waterfalls by TLC. A little trip down memory lane, bit of nostalgia here once again. This song was such a banger, a legendary song released way back in 1994. Again, I'm sure a lot of people when they first heard this were truly too young to understand, because some of the lyrics are pretty straightforward and straight to the point. It's just if you were born in the late 80s, early 90s or beyond that, and you heard this song when you were growing up, you probably didn't pay attention. And even if you did pay attention, he probably had no idea what's going on. But chasing waterfalls is basically a metaphor for being promiscuous, doing things that you shouldn't be doing, getting yourself into trouble, sleeping around, etc. That and the like. The lyrics, "'Cause he can't seem to keep himself out of trouble, so he goes out and he makes his money the best way he know how. Another body laying cold in the gutter." This is a reference to a drug dealer or someone doing something either along the lines of dealing drugs, gang membership, fighting, something along those lines that is ultimately leading to him getting killed. And later down the line, Little Precious has a natural obsession for temptation, but he just can't see. She give him loving that his body can't handle, but all he can say is, "Baby, it's good to me." His health is fading and he doesn't know why. 3 letters took him to his final resting place. This is about a man contracting HIV or AIDS. He keeps sleeping with someone or multiple women, the natural obsession for temptation, which is alluded to in the lyrics, and it has led to him contracting a deadly disease. Again, this is just something which completely went way over our heads when we were kids singing this, but now that you actually look at it and break it down, it makes a lot more sense. And on that note, we're actually going to move on to another nostalgic 1998 song, one of my favorite bands of all time, the Goo Goo Dolls. This song, Slide, which I always thought was just a nice, cozy, romantic song, honestly. Even well up into my 20s. I first heard this song when I think I was 11 years old. I absolutely love the Goo Goo Dolls, definitely one of my favorite bands. This song is actually about a young couple, either in their teens or maybe early 20s, getting pregnant and not knowing what to do, whether to get rid of the baby and have an abortion, whether to run away. The words run away are used repeatedly in this song, or whether to have the baby, and they're so overstressed about it that they're going to let it slide. Now, of course, we thought that this was a romantic song because of the chorus, "I want to wake up where you are, I won't say anything at all, so why don't you slide?" But it's actually about either having an abortion and then trying to let that go, let it slide, or not worrying too much about what's going to happen in the near future, and again, letting that slide. The second verse, "Don't you love the life you killed? The priest is on the phone, your father hit the wall, your ma disowned you," is about having the abortion and the ramifications of that. And then later on in that verse, it's something I can't change, I'll live around it, aka gonna have to deal with it and let it go, let it slide. Final song I'm going to put on this list, Born in the USA. Mainly because this song is so misunderstood as a patriotic anthem that people love and sing out loud. In fact, I'm sure that it actually has been used for presidential rallies and political events, when in reality, this song is far from it. This song is actually about someone who is sent to war, and when they get back from war, their country abandons them. So they're going to war even though they don't want to. They're performing a selfless act, and they're going to do it because they either have to or they feel like it's the right thing to do. Just some of the lyrics right here. "Got in a little hometown jam, so they put a rifle in my hand, sent me off to a foreign land to go and kill the yellow man." AKA this person's committed maybe a minor offense, either got in a fight, maybe crashed their car. Instead of going to prison or being fined, they're asked to join the army, or should I say they are forced to join the army. This actually happened in an episode of The Simpsons where Seymour Skinner was a street punk, and then he ended up getting in a bit of a kerfuffle and then had to join the army. The next verse after it, "Come back home to the refinery, hiring man says, son, if it was up to me." So he can't get a job when he gets back. He's gone and done this selfless act, could have died, gets back home, no money, nothing going for him, and they won't do anything for him when he gets home. And again, this is continued in "I go down and see the VA man." This means veteran affairs. Veteran affairs. That's the VA man. Veterans affairs. He said, "Son, don't you understand?" So again, this is definitely not patriotic. It is quite the opposite. It's actually about someone who, even though they don't want to or they've performed this selfless act, their country doesn't really care about them and they've got nothing going for them when they get home. I actually quite a bummer, really. This song was released initially in 1986, quite a few years after the USA pulled out of the Vietnam War. So I guess there wasn't that direct association, but it's quite clear from looking at the lyrics. It's actually painfully obvious this is definitely not a patriotic song, even though it is often alluded to be one. Awesome, guys. Well, I really enjoyed throwing this together, and of course there are so many more songs, so I might do a separate list. There is Fortunate Son. That is a very popular song, which a lot of people don't realize is somewhat of an anti-war song about someone who wasn't necessarily born into a wealthy family and therefore they have to go do this. Interesting background there. There are so many others, so yeah, like I said, I might do a separate video. Guys, please hit the subscribe button to help the channel out. It is the most legendary, most helpful thing you can do for the channel, and I appreciate you all so much. I will see you in the next video.